Commander Kate Morrison had been flying reconnaissance missions for 3 years, but nothing prepared her for this moment. Her shuttle was dying. The engines were failing, and red lights covered every screen. She tried to restart the power system, but nothing worked. Outside the window, she saw only empty space and distant stars. Then something massive moved in the darkness. Kate felt her heart race as a shape emerged from behind an asteroid. It was huge and covered in scales that glowed like crystals. A dragon. She had seen many alien creatures in her career, but never anything like this. The beast was at least 50 meters long, with wings that seemed to bend light itself. Its eyes burned with blue fire, and when it opened its mouth, Kate saw rows of teeth that could tear through her shuttle like paper. The dragon circled her damaged ship once, then twice. Kate grabbed the emergency beacon, but before she could activate it, the dragon landed on a nearby asteroid. The creature folded its massive wings, and something else caught her attention. A figure stood in the shadow of the dragon. The figure stepped into the starlight, and Kate forgot to breathe. She was an elf woman with silver hair that floated around her head like she was underwater. Her skin was pale like moonlight, and her eyes were violet with stars swirling inside them. She wore armor that looked like it was made from the same crystal as the dragon's scales. The woman raised one hand, and suddenly Kate heard a voice inside her mind. "Do not be afraid, human." Kate jumped in her seat and looked around, but she was alone in the shuttle. The voice came again, soft but clear. "I am Princess Lyria of the Aetherborn." Kate had studied alien races her entire career, but she had never heard of the Aetherborn. She activated her communication system, even though she knew it was damaged. "Who are you and what do you want?" The elf woman smiled, and Kate saw sadness in those strange eyes. "I want to save your species from extinction." Kate felt cold fear spread through her chest. "What are you talking about?" The dragon behind Lyria moved, and Kate saw intelligence in its eyes. This was not just an animal. This was something far more dangerous. Lyria took a step forward, and somehow she crossed the empty space between the asteroid and the shuttle. One moment she was far away, and the next she was standing on the hull of Kate's ship. The woman pressed her hand against the metal, and Kate felt the ship respond. The engines roared back to life. The lights turned green. Everything was suddenly working perfectly. Kate stared at her controls in shock. "How did you do that?" Lyria's voice filled her mind again. "I have been waiting a very long time for your species to be ready. Now the darkness is coming and you need my help." Kate wanted to refuse. She wanted to call for backup and report this strange encounter. But something inside her trusted this alien woman. Something deep and ancient that she could not explain. "What?" "Darkness." Lyria's expression became grave. "The Void Swarm. An enemy that has consumed 17 galaxies. They erase civilizations from time itself. Earth is next on their list." Kate felt her blood turn to ice. She had heard rumors about disappearing colonies and ships that vanished without a trace. The military called them equipment failures, but Kate had always suspected something worse. "You are saying there is an invasion coming?" Lyria nodded. "In a matter of weeks, maybe less. Your species cannot fight them alone. You need weapons and knowledge that humanity has not yet discovered. You need the Aetherborn." Kate made a decision that would change everything. She opened the airlock. Lyria stepped inside the shuttle, and the dragon suddenly shrank. The massive beast became smaller and smaller, until it was the size of a large dog. It followed Lyria into the ship and curled up at her feet. Kate stared at the creature. Its eyes still burned with that same terrible intelligence. "Your dragon." Lyria smiled and touched the creature's head. "His name is Starfire. He is my guardian and my oldest friend." Kate felt the dragon watching her. She had the strangest feeling that it recognized her. Somehow, like they had met before, even though that was impossible. She shook off the feeling and focused on Lyria. "I need to take you to my commanding officer. Admiral Lisa Hendricks will want to hear about this threat." Lyria sat down in the co-pilot seat. Her movements were graceful like water flowing. "Take me to your leaders, human. But know this. They will not believe you at first. They will think I am a trick or a trap. You will need to convince them." Kate started the engines and set a course for the main fleet. As they traveled through space, she found herself glancing at Lyria, the elf. The woman was studying the shuttle controls with curiosity. She touched a screen and suddenly understood how it worked. Kate had spent months learning those systems. "Why are you really here?" Lyria turned those violet eyes on her. "Because your species has potential. Because I made a promise long ago. Because the universe needs warriors who fight with heart and not just weapons." Kate felt heat rise to her face. "We are not warriors. We are explorers. Lyria smiled sadly. You will be warriors soon enough. The void does not give anyone a choice. They talked for hours as the shuttle flew toward the fleet. Kate learned that the Aetherborn were an ancient race. They had built empires that spanned galaxies. They had technology that seemed like magic, but something had destroyed them thousands of years ago. Lyria was the last of her royal bloodline. She had been sleeping in some kind of stasis, waiting for the right moment, waiting for humanity to reach the stars. Kate wanted to ask why humanity was so important, but before she could speak, an alarm sounded. 3 void ships had appeared on her sensors. They were closing fast. Lyria stood, and Starfire grew to full size in an instant. The dragon's head nearly touched the ceiling. Open the airlock. Kate did not hesitate. She trusted this strange alien woman even though she could not explain why. The airlock opened, and Starfire launched into space. The dragon flew toward the void ships, breathing blue fire. The flames hit the first enemy ship and it simply ceased to exist, not exploded or destroyed. It was erased as if it had never been there. Kate watched in awe as Starfire destroyed the other 2 ships with the same cosmic fire. Then the dragon returned and shrank back down. Lyria sat down again as if nothing had happened. Kate stared at her. That was incredible. Lyria looked tired. That was necessary. The void knows I am here now. They will send more. We need to reach your fleet quickly. Kate pushed the engines to maximum speed. As they flew, she realized something. She had been terrified when she saw the dragon, but now she felt safe, protected. Like Lyria and Starfire were old friends instead of alien strangers. She glanced at the elf woman again. Lyria was watching the stars with an expression of longing. Kate felt words rise in her throat. Words she had not planned to say. I admire you. Lyria turned. Sharply. What? Kate felt her face burn with embarrassment. I mean, I admire your courage. Facing the void like that. Trying to save a species you barely know. It takes incredible bravery. Lyria stared at her for a long moment. Those violet eyes seemed to see through Kate's skin and into her soul. Then the elf woman smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was sad and hopeful and ancient all at once. She leaned close and whispered one word. Finally, Kate wanted to ask what that meant, but Lyria turned back to the window. The elf woman's hand trembled slightly as if that single word had cost her everything. Kate focused on flying the shuttle, but her mind raced with questions. Why did Lyria say finally? What was she waiting for? And why did Kate feel like she should already know the answer? The fleet appeared ahead. Massive warships hung in space like metal cities. Kate sent her identification code and requested immediate docking. She had a feeling that everything was about to change. For humanity, for herself, and for the mysterious elf princess who seemed to know her better than she knew her. Admiral Lisa Hendricks did not trust aliens. She had made that very clear when Kate brought Lyria to the War Council aboard the Earth defense ship Valkyrie. The admiral sat at the head of a long table surrounded by her officers. All of them stared at the elf woman with suspicion. Starfire lay at Lyria's feet in his smaller form. His blue eyes watched everyone in the room. Kate stood beside Lyria, feeling protective, even though the princess probably did not need protection. Explain again why we should believe you. Admiral Hendricks leaned forward with her hands clasped. You appear out of nowhere claiming an ancient enemy is coming. You offer no proof except a dragon and strange powers. Lyria remained calm. Her voice was soft, but everyone heard it clearly. The proof is coming whether you believe me or not. The Void Swarm does not negotiate. They do not take prisoners. They erase everything they touch from existence itself. One of the officers spoke up. Lieutenant Commander Frank Hayes was the fleet's science officer. He had been studying Lyria's armor with a scanner. Admiral, the readings I am getting from her equipment are impossible. The technology is thousands of years beyond anything we have. Maybe millions of years. This is not a trick. Admiral Hendricks frowned. That makes it more suspicious, not less. Where did this technology come from? How do we know you are not the threat? Lyria stood and Kate saw something flash in those violet eyes. Anger. The elf woman's hands glowed with silver light. Do you want me to prove my power? I could destroy this entire ship with a thought. Is that what you need to believe me? Kate stepped between them. With respect, Admiral, we cannot afford to ignore this warning. I saw what Starfire did to those void ships. They were erased in seconds. If an entire fleet of those things comes to Earth, we will not survive. Without help. The Admiral looked at Kate for a long moment. Then she sighed. Fine. You have 1 week to convince me. Show us these void creatures. Teach us how to fight them. If what you say is true, then we will form an alliance. Lyria's glow faded. She nodded once. 1 week. But know this, human leader. The void will not wait for your convenience. They are already closer than you think. The meeting ended, and Kate was assigned as Lyria's official liaison. That meant she would stay with the princess at all times. They were given quarters on the Valkyrie, and Kate found herself alone with Lyria. For the first time since landing, the elf woman stood by the window, looking out at the stars. Starfire had grown to medium size and was curled up on the floor. Kate sat down on one of the bunks. You could have handled that better. You almost attacked the Admiral. Lyria turned, and Kate saw exhaustion in her face. I am tired, Kate. I have been alone for so long, waiting and hoping that humanity would be ready. Now that I am finally here, your leaders treat me like a criminal. Kate felt sympathy rise in her chest. I am sorry. We are a suspicious species. We have been attacked before by aliens. Claiming to be friends, Lyria walked over and sat beside Kate. Their shoulders almost touched. I understand. But we do not have time for suspicion. The void is coming. She pulled off her armored jacket, and Kate gasped. On Lyria's back was a tattoo. But it was not like any tattoo Kate had ever seen. It glowed with soft light, and showed a map of stars and planets. Kate recognized some of the constellations. Then she saw something that made her heart stop. That is Earth. She pointed to a small blue planet in the corner of the map. But the continents are wrong. The land masses are in different positions. Lyria looked over her shoulder. This map is 50,000 years old. Kate stared at the elf woman. That is impossible. Humans did not even exist 50,000 years ago. We were barely using tools. Lyria's expression was sad. I know. She stood and walked back to the window. Kate followed her. What are you not telling me? Why does your ancient map show Earth? Lyria was silent for a long time. Finally she spoke. The Etherborn did not just know about humanity. We created the conditions for your evolution. Kate felt the room spin. What? Lyria turned to face her. We needed warriors. The void was already destroying galaxies even back then. We searched for species that could fight them. Species that had potential for greatness. We found primates on Earth. Smart but primitive. So we seeded your planet with biological accelerants. Chemicals that would speed up evolution. We wanted you to become the warriors we needed. Kate backed away. Her mind raced with horror and confusion. You are saying humans were manufactured. We are not natural. We are weapons you created. Lyria shook her head quickly. No, it is not that simple. We only accelerated what was already there. The potential for intelligence and creativity and courage. That was all already in your species. We just helped it bloom faster. Kate sat down hard on the bunk. This was too much. Everything she thought she knew about human history was a lie. But something did go wrong. Lyria continued. One of our people sabotaged the program. She destroyed most of the accelerants. She believed it was wrong to interfere with natural evolution. The council executed her for treason. Kate looked up. Who was she? Lyria's eyes filled with tears. My sister. Her name was Kayla. After she died, I could not bear to live in that universe anymore. So I placed myself in stasis. I programmed Starfire to watch over Earth, to protect humanity as it grew naturally without our interference. I wanted to sleep until your species reached the stars on your own. The dragon made a soft sound. Kate looked at Starfire and suddenly understood. You have been here the entire time, watching us. Starfire nodded his massive head. Lyria smiled through her tears. Every major leap in human civilization, fire and agriculture and space travel. Starfire was there in the shadows, making sure you survived, making sure you had a chance. Kate felt dizzy. When I decoded that first alien transmission as a child, was that you? Lyria nodded. It was a trigger, a message designed to wake me when humanity was ready. You were only 12 years old, but you solved a puzzle that should have taken decades. That was when I knew it was time. Kate stood and paced the room. She needed to move. She needed to think. So you have been planning this for 50,000 years. Lyria walked over to her. Not planning. Hoping. I hoped that humanity would survive. I hoped you would reach the stars. I hoped that when I woke up there would be people worth saving. Kate stopped pacing and looked at the elf woman. And are we worth saving? Lyria reached out and touched Kate's face gently. Yes. You are brave and creative and stubborn. You fight even when you should surrender. You hope even in darkness. That is why I admire your species. Kate remembered her own words from the shuttle. I admire you, Lyria had whispered finally. Now Kate understood a little better. The princess had been waiting for someone to see her as more than just a weapon or a tool, waiting for someone to appreciate her sacrifice. But there was still something. Lyria was not saying. Kate could feel it. Why me specifically? Out of 8 billion humans, why do I feel this connection to you? Lyria pulled her hand back. Her expression became guarded. That is a conversation for another time. Kate wanted to push, but an alarm suddenly blared through the ship. Both women ran to the door. In the corridor, officers were rushing to battle stations. Kate grabbed one of them. What is happening? The void. The officer's face was pale with fear. They are here. A small fleet just appeared at the edge of the system. Admiral Hendricks is calling all pilots to their fighters. Kate looked at Lyria. The elf woman's face was grim. It begins. They ran toward the hangar bay. Starfire grew to full size and followed them. As they ran, Kate realized something. She had only known Lyria for a few hours, but she trusted the princess with her life. More than that, she felt like she had known Lyria forever, like they were connected by something deeper than friendship, something ancient, something impossible. The hangar doors opened and Kate saw hundreds of human fighters launching into space. Beyond them, dark shapes moved against the stars. The Void Swarm had arrived, and Earth's first real war for survival was about to begin. The Void ships looked like nightmares made solid. They were black and twisted with surfaces that seemed to absorb light itself. Tentacles extended from their hulls, and wherever those tentacles touched, human ships simply stopped existing. Kate watched from the hangar as 3 fighters vanished in seconds. No explosion. No debris. Just nothing. Lieutenant Amy Chen was leading the defense from New Horizons Station. Kate could hear her voice over the communication system. We need backup now. They are tearing through our shields like paper. Admiral Hendricks responded from the bridge. All wings engage. Target their propulsion systems. Amy's voice came back strained. We tried that. Our weapons are not working. The missiles just pass through them like they are not even there. Kate turned to Lyria. The elf woman was climbing onto Starfire's back. The dragon had grown to his full, massive size. Come with me. Lyria extended her hand. Kate did not hesitate. She grabbed Lyria's hand and was pulled up onto the dragon's back. The scales felt warm and solid beneath her. Starfire launched from the hangar so fast that Kate's breath was torn away. They flew into the battle and Kate saw the true horror of the Void Swarm. There were not just ships. There were creatures. Massive biomechanical horrors that moved through space like swimming through water. They had too many eyes and too many mouths. Kate felt her mind rebel at the sight of them. Lyria leaned forward and whispered something to Starfire. The dragon opened his mouth and blue fire poured out. The cosmic flames hit a void ship and it screamed. Yes, it screamed. Kate heard it in her mind. A sound of pure agony as the ship was erased from existence. Starfire dove through. The enemy formation. His claws tore through void creatures. His fire burned them away. Kate held on tight and watched in awe. Then she saw something that made her understand. Lyria was not just riding the dragon, she was merging with him. The princess's eyes glowed the same blue as Starfire's fire. Her movements matched his perfectly. They were not rider and mount. They were one being. 2 minds sharing one purpose. Kate felt the power radiating from them. It was beautiful and terrifying. But even with Starfire's power, the battle was going badly. For every void ship destroyed 2 more appeared. They were adapting, learning. Kate saw a void creature dodge Starfire's fire. Then another. They were studying the attack patterns, finding weaknesses. Kate activated her communication link. Admiral Hendricks, can you hear me? The Admiral's voice was stressed. Kate, where are you? I see you on a dragon. What are you doing? Kate ignored the question. Admiral, the Void is learning from us. They are adapting to our tactics. We cannot fight them with standard military strategy. There was silence for a moment. Then what do you suggest? Kate thought fast. Human pilots need to stop following coordinated attack patterns. We need chaos. We need every pilot making their own decisions. Unpredictable moves that no algorithm can predict. Confusion is our weapon. Another voice joined the channel. This is Amy Chen. I agree with Kate. My squadron has had better luck when we break formation. The Void cannot predict random actions. Admiral Hendricks was quiet for 3 seconds. Then her voice came through, clear and firm. All wings break formation. Engage at will. Use any tactics you think will work. Do not follow standard procedures. Surprise is now our primary objective. Kate felt relief flood through her. The human fighters scattered. Pilots started using wild maneuvers. Some flew in spirals. Some attacked from impossible angles. One pilot even rammed a void ship and ejected at the last second. It worked. The void creatures slowed down. They were confused. Their hive mind could not process the chaotic human tactics. Starfire took advantage of the confusion. He dove through enemy ranks, burning everything in his path. Lyria's voice filled Kate's mind. Your species is remarkable. No other race has ever thought to use chaos as a weapon. Kate smiled. We are good at being unpredictable. But the celebration was premature. A massive void ship appeared. It was 10 times larger than the others. Tentacles extended in every direction. It grabbed 3 human fighters, and they vanished. Kate felt cold terror. That thing is enormous. How do we fight it? Lyria's mental voice was grim. That is a void carrier. It contains thousands of smaller creatures. We need to destroy it before it releases them. Starfire flew toward the massive ship, but before they could attack, something hit them from the side. A void creature had ambushed them. Its tentacle wrapped around Starfire's wing. The dragon roared in pain and anger. They started falling, spinning toward a nearby asteroid field. Kate held on with all her strength. Lyria was fighting the creature. Silver light poured from her hands. But there were too many tentacles. One wrapped around Kate's waist and pulled. She screamed as she was torn from Starfire's back. The dragon tried to catch her, but he was tangled in the creature's grip. Kate flew through space, tumbling and spinning. Her emergency suit activated, keeping her alive. But she was heading straight for an asteroid. She was going to die. Then blue fire filled her vision. Starfire had broken free. He flew faster than Kate thought possible. The dragon caught her gently in his claws. But the void creature was still coming. Its massive mouth opened, showing teeth made of darkness. Lyria appeared between them. The elf woman had teleported. She floated in space with her hands raised. Silver light exploded from her entire body. The light was so bright Kate had to close her eyes. When she opened them again, the void creature was gone. Lyria was floating unconscious. Starfire caught her in his other claw. Now holding both women carefully, the dragon flew away. From the battle, Kate looked back and saw the human fleet still fighting. They were holding their ground. The chaos tactics were working, but that massive void carrier was still there, still waiting. Starfire brought them to a damaged escape pod that was drifting near the battle. He placed both women inside gently. Then he shrank down to fit beside them. Kate grabbed Lyria and pulled her close. The princess was breathing, but barely. Kate activated the pod's emergency beacon. Help was coming. She could see human rescue ships in the distance. They floated in the quiet pod. Outside the battle raged on. Kate held Lyria and realized her hands were shaking. They had almost died. Both of them. Kate looked at Lyria's face. Even unconscious, the princess was beautiful. But more than that, Kate felt that strange connection again. That feeling of knowing someone from before. She could not explain it. But sitting here holding Lyria felt right. Like coming home. Lyria's eyes opened slowly. For a moment she looked confused. Then she focused on Kate. You saved me. Kate smiled. No, you saved me. You teleported between me and that creature. Lyria tried to sit up but winced in pain. We saved each other then. Kate helped her get comfortable. The pod was small, so they were pressed close together. Kate could feel Lyria's heartbeat. It was faster than a human heart. Why did you risk your life for me? Kate asked the question before she could stop herself. We barely know each other. Lyria looked at her with those violet eyes full of stars. Because you are not just any human, Kate Morrison. There was something in her voice. Something heavy with meaning. Kate felt her own heart race. What does that mean? Lyria's expression became sad and ancient. You deserve to know the truth. Kate, you are connected to my past in ways you cannot imagine. You are the reincarnation of my sister. The words hung in the air between them. Kate stared at Lyria, unable to process what she had just heard. Reincarnation. That was impossible. Magic and fairy tales. But as she looked into Lyria's eyes, she saw only truth. The princess believed it completely. And somewhere deep inside, Kate felt something stir. A memory that was not hers. A life she had never lived. A love that transcended death. Before she could respond, the rescue ship arrived. The pod doors opened and medics rushed in. They pulled Kate and Lyria apart. Took them to separate medical bays. Kate wanted to protest, wanted to stay with Lyria, but the medics were insistent. She needed to be checked for injuries. As they carried her away, Kate looked back. Lyria was watching her. The princess raised one hand in farewell, and Kate saw tears on her face. In the medical bay, Kate lay on a bed staring at the ceiling. Her mind raced with impossible thoughts. Reincarnation. Lyria's sister. A connection that spanned lifetimes. She thought about that moment in the shuttle, when she had said, "I admire you," and Lyria had whispered finally. The princess had been waiting, not just for humanity to reach the stars, but for her sister's soul to return. For Kate. Outside the window, the battle continued. Human fighters danced through space in beautiful chaos. Starfire flew among them, breathing cosmic fire. And somewhere on this ship, Lyria was thinking about the same impossible truth. That love and connection could survive even death itself. Kate closed her eyes, but she did not sleep. How could she sleep when everything she thought she knew about herself had just shattered? How could she rest when her soul apparently remembered a life she had never lived? Tomorrow, she would demand answers. Tomorrow, she would make Lyria explain everything. But tonight she would lie here and try to understand that she was Kate Morrison, human commander. And also somehow something more. Someone who had lived before. Someone who meant everything to an ancient alien princess. Someone whose destiny was written in the stars 50,000 years ago. Kate refused to believe it at first. She spent 2 days avoiding Lyria, throwing herself into helping repair damaged ships, analyzing battle data, anything to not think about impossible reincarnation. But the memories kept coming. Small things at first. She would see a star pattern and know its name without having learned it. She would touch ether-born technology and understand how it worked. She would look at Lyria and feel love so deep it hurt. Love that could not be explained by knowing someone for only a few days. On the 3rd day, Lyria found her in the observation deck. Kate was staring out at the stars. The elf woman sat down beside her without speaking. They sat in silence for several minutes. Kate finally broke first. "I am not her. I am not your sister. I am Kate Morrison. I have my own life and my own identity." Lyria nodded slowly. "I know. That is why I waited to tell you. You needed to become who you are first." Kate turned to face her. "Then why tell me at all? Why burden me with this?" Lyria's expression was gentle. "Because the memories are coming whether I tell you or not. Your soul recognizes mine. Soon you will remember everything. I wanted you to hear it from me first." Kate felt anger rise in her chest. "So I have no choice. I am just going to lose myself and become someone else." "No," Lyria said firmly. "Kayla is gone. Her life ended 50,000 years ago, but her soul lived on. It has been reborn hundreds of times as different humans, each life unique and precious. You are not Kayla reborn. You are Kate Morrison, who carries Kayla's soul. There is a difference." Kate wanted to argue, but something stopped her. Deep inside, she felt the truth of those words. She was still herself, but she was also more. "Show me," Kate heard herself say. "Show me what happened to her." To Kayla. Lyria stood and extended her hand. "Are you certain? Once you see, you cannot unsee." Kate took her hand. "I need to understand." Lyria led her to a quiet meditation room. Starfire was waiting, there in his medium form. The dragon looked at Kate with knowing eyes. "Lie down," Lyria instructed. "I am going to take you into Starfire's memories." The Etherborn stored everything important in dragon minds. It is safer than any computer. Kate lay on the floor. Lyria placed her hands on Kate's temples. Starfire touched his nose to her forehead. Then the world disappeared. Kate found herself standing in a place of crystal towers and floating gardens. This was the Etherborn homeworld, beautiful beyond description. She saw herself, but it was not herself. She was taller with silver hair and violet eyes. She wore armor made of living light. "Kayla." Kate was seeing through Kayla's memories. A voice called out, and Kayla turned. Lyria was running toward her. But this Lyria was younger. Her face had not yet known sorrow. "Sister." Lyria embraced Kayla. "I heard what you did. You destroyed the accelerants. The council is furious." Kayla pulled back. "I had no choice. What we are doing to the humans is wrong. They deserve to grow naturally, to choose their own path. We cannot force them to become warriors." Lyria looked worried. "But the void is coming. We need allies. We need weapons." Kayla shook her head. "Then we find allies who choose to fight. Not slaves we manufactured. The memory shifted. Kate saw Kayla standing before a council of ancient Etherborn. Their faces were cold and judgmental. "You have committed treason." One of them spoke. "You have doomed countless lives. The void will destroy galaxies while we wait for natural evolution." Kayla stood proud. "I saved those lives from slavery. You wanted to create weapons. I gave them freedom." The lead counselor stood. His face was twisted with anger. "For your crimes, you will be executed. Your soul will be cast into the cycle. You will forget everything and live as a primitive." Kayla smiled. "Good. Let me live as they do. Let me experience true freedom." The memory shifted again. Kate saw Kayla being led to an execution chamber. Lyria was there crying. "Please, sister, let me come with you. I cannot lose you." Kayla touched her face gently. "You will find me again. Souls always recognize each other. Wait for me, little sister. I will return." Then came pain. Kate felt Kayla's soul being ripped from her body, cast into the void between worlds, falling through time and space, until she was born again. As a human child, the memory ended, and Kate gasped. She was back in the meditation room. Tears streamed down her face. Lyria was crying too. "Now you understand." The princess whispered, "I have been looking for you in every human I met, waiting for my sister's soul to recognize me. When you decoded that transmission, I knew. I finally knew it was you." Kate sat up slowly. Her mind was reeling. She remembered now. Not everything but pieces. The love she had for Lyria. The conviction that had driven her to sabotage the program. The acceptance of death knowing she had done the right thing. "I remember you," Kate said softly. Not Kate's memories, but Kayla's. "I remember loving you." Lyria sobbed and pulled Kate into her arms. They held each other and cried. For loss and reunion. For 50,000 years of waiting. For love that survived death itself. But Kate pulled back after a moment. "I am still me. I am still Kate. I have my own thoughts and feelings. Kayla's memories do not define me." Lyria nodded. "I know. That is why I love you. Not because you are Kayla, but because you are Kate Morrison, who carries Kayla's courage and conviction. You are both, and you are yourself." Before Kate could respond, an alarm sounded. Both women rushed to the bridge. Admiral Hendricks was there looking grave. "We have a problem." She pointed to a screen showing deep space scans. Captain Helen Rodriguez discovered something. The Void Swarm is not just attacking randomly. They are being controlled. There is an intelligence behind them. Kate felt cold fear. Controlled by whom? The Admiral looked at Lyria. "That is what we need you to tell us. Because the signal is coming from Etherborn technology." Lyria's face went pale. "That is impossible. All Aetherborn are dead. I am the last." The Admiral pulled up more data. "The signature matches. Your equipment exactly. Whoever is controlling the void has access to your technology." Lyria was silent for a long moment. Then she whispered one word. "Vex." Kate looked at her. "Who is Vex?" Lyria's expression was haunted. Lord Vex was the lead counselor. The one who executed Kayla. "I thought he died with the others. But if he survived..." She turned to Kate. "Then this is worse than I thought." Vex was brilliant and cruel. He believed the Aetherborn should rule all lesser species. If he is controlling the void, then he has a plan. And that plan involves me. Admiral Hendricks frowned. "What kind of plan?" Lyria walked to the window looking out at space. "The Aetherborn homeworld is sealed, protected by technology that requires royal blood to access. Inside is the Genesis engine, a device that can rewrite reality itself. Vex needs me to open the seal. He is using the void to force me to come to him." Kate stepped forward. "Then we do not go. We fight him from here." Lyria shook her head. "He will destroy Earth. He will destroy every human world until I surrender. This is not just about conquest anymore. This is about revenge. Vex wants to punish me for surviving when the others died. He wants to force me to watch humanity burn." The room was silent. Then Admiral Hendricks spoke. "So what do we do?" Lyria turned to face them. "We go to him, but we do not give him what he wants. We use the Genesis engine ourselves. We end this war permanently." Kate grabbed Lyria's arm. "That sounds like a suicide mission." Lyria smiled sadly. "It is, but I have done harder things. I waited 50,000 years for you to return. I can face one mad counselor." Kate felt determination fill her chest. "Then I am going with you. You are not doing this alone." Lyria looked at her with love and fear. Kate, you do not. I have to. You have your own life now. Kate shook her head. No. We face this together. That is what Kayla would do. That is what I choose to do. Because I am not just Kayla's reincarnation. I am Kate Morrison. And Kate Morrison does not abandon her friends. Or the woman she is starting to love. Lyria's eyes widened. You love me. Kate smiled. I do not know if it is Kayla's love or my own. Probably both. But yes, I love you. And I am not letting you face Vex alone. Lyria pulled Kate into a fierce embrace. Then we go together. Kate nodded against her shoulder. Together. Admiral Hendricks cleared her throat. I hate to interrupt, but if you are going to do this, you need a plan. And you need backup. Lyria pulled away from Kate but held her hand. We will need your fastest ship, and your bravest pilots. This will be dangerous. The Admiral smiled. Commander Morrison is your liaison. I assume she will be going. Kate squeezed Lyria's hand. I will. The Admiral nodded. Then I am assigning you a full squadron, including our best fighter pilot, Lieutenant Beth Carson. You will need all the help you can get. Kate felt hope rise in her chest. They had a chance, maybe a small one, but a chance. Vex wanted to use the Genesis engine for destruction, but maybe they could use it for something else, something better. Kate looked at Lyria and saw the same hope in her eyes. Together they would face the Mad Counselor. Together they would end this war, and maybe together they would find a way to transform the universe itself, not through control or slavery, but through choice and freedom, the way Kayla had always wanted. The journey to the Etherborn homeworld took 3 days. Kate spent every hour planning with Lyria and the squadron. Lieutenant Beth Carson proved to be exactly what they needed. She was fearless and creative. Her tactics were unpredictable even by human standards. The perfect warrior against the void. On the final night before they arrived, Kate found Lyria on the observation deck. The elf princess was staring at a blue star in the distance. That is my home, Lyria said softly. I have not seen it in 50,000 years. Kate stood beside her. Are you afraid? Lyria smiled, terrified, but also relieved. This has been waiting for me all this time. Now it ends, one way or another. Kate took her hand. We will survive this. Together. Lyria turned and kissed her. It was gentle and desperate. A kiss that held 50,000 years of waiting. When they pulled apart, Lyria whispered, No matter what happens, I want you to know. Finding you again made everything worth it. Every year of waiting. Every moment of loneliness. All of it was worth it to see you one more time. Kate felt tears on her cheeks. We are not saying goodbye. We are going to win. Lyria just smiled and turned back to the stars. The next morning they arrived. The Etherborn homeworld was surrounded by a massive energy barrier. It pulsed with power that made Kate's teeth ache. But there was something else. Void ships. Thousands of them circling the barrier like sharks. In the center of the swarm was a ship unlike any Kate had seen. It was beautiful and terrible. Built from crystal and darkness. Vex. Lyria breathed the name like a curse. He is waiting for us. The squadron prepared for battle. Beth Carson led the human fighters. Starfire grew to full size with Kate and Lyria on his back. They flew toward the barrier. Immediately void ships attacked. But the humans were ready. They scattered in chaotic patterns. Beth led a group in a wild spiral maneuver that confused the enemy. Other pilots used random jumps and unpredictable turns. The void could not adapt fast enough. Starfire burned through the enemy ranks. His cosmic fire erased ship after ship. Kate held on tight as they dove and climbed. The battle was chaos and beauty. Then Vex's ship moved. It did not attack them. Instead, it opened a path through the barrier. An invitation. Lyria's voice was grim in Kate's mind. He wants us to come in. It is a trap, Kate responded. Then we spring it. But on our terms. Starfire flew through the opening. The barrier closed behind them. They were alone now, cut off from the squadron. The crystal ship landed on the planet's surface. Starfire followed. They touched down in a city of ruins. Once this place had been magnificent. Now it was broken towers and shattered gardens. A figure emerged from Vex's ship. He was tall and thin with skin like marble. His eyes were black holes that seemed to swallow light. He wore robes covered in equations and symbols. When he smiled, Kate saw madness. Little Lyria. His voice was like ice breaking. You finally came home, and you brought a pet human. How touching. Lyria and Kate dismounted from Starfire. The dragon positioned. himself protectively. Vex. Lyria's voice was steady. This ends now. Vex laughed. Oh, it ends. But not the way you think. He raised his hand and the ruins around them came alive. Void creatures poured from every shadow. Starfire roared and attacked. His fire burned them away. But more kept coming. Vex was creating them from nothing. Kate drew her weapon, but it was useless against the void. Lyria fought with silver light. But Vex was stronger. He had been alive for 50,000 years, growing in power and madness. You cannot win, Vex said calmly. I have already won. The Genesis engine is mine. All I need is your blood to open it. Then I will remake reality. I will erase every species that defied the Aetherborn, starting with humanity. Kate felt rage fill her chest. You are insane. Vex turned those black eyes on her. And you are Kayla. I would know that soul anywhere. Still defiant even after death. Tell me, does it hurt knowing your precious humans were manufactured? That their free will is an illusion I created? Kate felt Lyria stiffen beside her. What? Vex smiled. Oh, she did not tell you. The accelerants Kayla destroyed were only part of the program. I embedded commands deep. In human DNA, instructions to be creative and chaotic and unpredictable. Everything you think makes you special. I designed it. You are not free. You are tools that think they chose their own path. Kate felt her world crumble. But then she looked at Lyria. The elf princess was staring at Vex with horror. That is not true. You are lying. Vex shrugged. Believe what you want. The truth is in the Genesis engine. Come and see. He turned and walked toward a massive structure. The Genesis engine was a tower of pure light. It pulsed with the heartbeat of creation itself. Lyria started to follow. Kate grabbed her arm. Wait. This is what he wants. Lyria looked at her with tears in her eyes. I have to know, Kate. I have to know if everything I believed was a lie. Kate took a deep breath. Then we go together. They followed Vex into the tower. Starfire tried to follow, but the entrance sealed behind them. They were alone with the mad counselor. Inside the tower, Kate saw wonders. Screens showing galaxies being born and dying. Equations that described the fabric of reality. And in the center, a sphere of impossible light. The Genesis engine. Vex placed his hand on a panel. Immediately, machines came. Alive. Needle arms reached for Lyria. Kate tried to pull her away, but Vex waved his hand. Kate was frozen in place, unable to move. The needles took Lyria's blood. The Genesis engine accepted it. The sphere opened and Kate saw everything. The birth of the universe. The rise and fall of civilizations. The secret codes written into human DNA. And Vex was right. Humans had been programmed. Their creativity was designed. Their chaos was calculated. But then Kate saw something else. Something Vex had not seen. Yes, humans were programmed. But the program was flawed. Kayla's sabotage had done more than destroy accelerants. It had corrupted the code. The instructions were incomplete. Humans had taken that flawed programming and made it their own. They had exceeded their design. Become more than they were meant to be. Their free will was real. Born from the gaps in Vex's perfect plan, Kate felt joy and relief. She tried to tell Lyria, but she still could not move. Vex was studying the Genesis engine. His expression shifted from triumph to confusion. What? No, this is wrong. The program is corrupted. Humans should not have developed this way. They should be obedient warriors. Not this. This. Chaos. Kate wanted to laugh. She understood now. Vex had created the conditions for human greatness. But Kayla's love had given them the freedom to achieve it. The counselor's perfect plan had been undone by one woman's sacrifice. And that sacrifice had been Kate in another life. Vex turned to Lyria with rage on his face. Your sister ruined everything. Even in death she defies me. But I can fix it. I will use the Genesis engine to rewrite human DNA. Make them what they were always meant to be. My perfect soldiers. Lyria found her voice. No. I will not let you enslave them. Vex smiled. Cruelly. You cannot stop me. I am immortal. I am power itself. Then Kate spoke. Her body was still frozen, but her mind was free. You are neither. You are just a sad old man afraid of change. Vex turned to her. Be silent, weapon. Kate felt something shift inside her. Kayla's memories merged fully with her own. She understood now. The Genesis engine did not just show reality. It could be influenced by thought, by will, by love. She reached out with her mind. Not Kate alone. Not Kayla alone. But both together. She touched Lyria's consciousness. The princess gasped as their minds connected. Then, Kate touched Starfire outside the tower. The dragon's vast cosmic mind joined them. They became one being. 3 souls merged into something new. Vex screamed as he realized what was happening. No, this is impossible. The being that was Kate Lyria Starfire spoke with 3 voices as one. Nothing is impossible. Not when you fight with love instead of control. They touched the Genesis engine. The sphere exploded with light. Vex tried to stop them, but he was alone. They were together. The engine responded to their will. Kate Lyria Starfire rewrote one fundamental rule. Souls would now remember their past lives, but only if they chose to. The knowledge would be there, the memories waiting, but each person would decide. Freedom and knowledge together. Vex felt the change hit him. Suddenly he remembered every life he had destroyed, every civilization he had enslaved. The weight of 50,000 years of crimes crashed into his mind. He fell to his knees, screaming. The being that was 3 souls reached out to him. We offer you redemption. Remember what you have done, then choose to be better. Vex looked up at them, his black eyes filled with tears. I cannot. I have done too much. The being spoke gently. Everyone can change. Even you. Then they separated. Kate stood on her own feet, Lyria beside her. Starfire outside waiting. The Genesis engine's light faded. Vex sat on the floor broken, his madness burned away by the weight of truth. Kate looked at Lyria. The princess was smiling. We did it. Kate nodded. We gave the universe a choice. Outside the tower, the void swarm was dissolving. Without Vex's control, they scattered into space. The war was over. Not through destruction, but through transformation. The squadron found them an hour later. Beth Carson led the rescue team. She stared at the broken Vex. What do we do with him? Lyria looked at the counselor. He will stand trial. He will face the consequences of his actions. But he will live. Everyone deserves a chance to choose better. They returned to the fleet as heroes. Admiral Hendricks promoted Kate to captain. But Kate barely noticed. She was too busy trying to understand what she had become. That night she stood on the observation deck. Lyria found her there. The princess touched her shoulder. How do you feel? Kate thought about it. I feel like me, but more. I remember Kayla's life now. I remember loving you for thousands of years, but I also remember my own life, my own choices. I am both. Lyria smiled. That is beautiful. Kate turned to face her. I told you in the shuttle that I admired you. Do you remember? Lyria nodded. You said finally. Kate continued. I understand now what you meant. You were waiting for someone to see you as more than a princess, more than a weapon. You were waiting for love. Lyria's eyes filled with tears. Yes. Kate took her hands. I see you, Lyria, not as Kayla, but as Kate, and I love you, not because we have history, but because of who you are now. Your courage, your sacrifice, your hope. Lyria pulled Kate into a kiss. This one was different from before. It was not desperate or afraid. It was full of joy and promise. When they pulled apart, Lyria whispered, I have been waiting for exactly the right person. Kate smiled. Then I am glad I finally arrived. Starfire made a happy sound from where he lay nearby. The dragon had been watching them. Now he stood and walked over. He nuzzled both women gently. Kate laughed and hugged his massive head. You are part of this too. We are all connected now. Lyria joined the embrace. The 3 of them stood, together looking out at the stars. Somewhere in the cosmos, the Genesis engine's change was spreading. People were waking up to memories of past lives, choosing whether to embrace them or let them go. The universe was transforming, not through force, but through choice, and it had all started with one woman sacrificing herself for freedom, with another woman waiting 50,000 years for love, and with a human commander who chose to fight for both. Kate Morrison looked at Lyria and Starfire. Her family, her destiny, her choice, and she smiled, because this was not an ending. It was a beginning, for humanity, for the Etherborn, for love that transcends death and time. The war was over. But the adventure was just starting.